What's up, guys? LBF back again with another Vans review, and today we have the Ultrarange Exo black size 13. Retail on these was $90. So these dropped a while back, definitely late on this review. Kind of had a lot of stuff going on in between now and January, which is I believe when these dropped. Ultrarange line, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with these by now, originally dropping with the Rapid Weld a couple of years back. We have seen some advancements since then, several models with the Ultrarange name in it. You have the Ultrarange AC, the Ultrarange Gore, Ultrarange 3D, Ultrarange AC Exo. There's a whole bunch of different shoes that primarily just feature these co-molded outsoles with some meshed uppers, which we will get into in a sec here. But I do want to talk about the advancement of these foam bottom shoes, which I think has just been crazy. The very first ones I can think about with Vans kind of dipping their toes in the athletic shoe game would be the LXVI line dropping with the ISO. Obviously, we've seen runner style shoes from Vans in the past with like the OG runners, the Serio, but with the ISO, we see our first shoe that features an entirely foam sole. So the ISOs were awesome. I've done some reviews on them in the past if you guys want to check them out. Definitely one of my favorite shoes at the time. The meshed upper was just outstanding, super comfortable. The sole, I actually didn't really have too much of an issue with. I never really like slid out or had any accidents with it, but I've definitely heard some horror stories. And I know that the solid foam sole was not really the best idea, especially when you're looking at something that kind of has that athletic feel to it. So you would think it would have a little more traction to it. But yeah, so Vans scrapping the whole totally foam bottom shoes, and then actually moving into the lights, which featured the foam bottom as well. A lot of people fell in love with those, but those ones featuring some classic silhouettes. Vans stepped that game up, obviously with a comfy cush now featuring the rubber soles. But as far as the advancement for the ISOs, we came into the Ultraranges. So the Ultraranges featured the co-molded outsoles, which essentially were the foam and the rubber combining here to give you the comfort of the foam, but also adding the grip and traction of the rubber. So this particular model, the Exo, now features this totally rubberized outsole for maximum traction. What we saw in the past with some of the other Ultraranges were these outsoles that kind of had like a hybrid, right? So there's a little bit more foam here in the midfoot. But now with the increased rubber around that midfoot, you do have that better traction. So it really doesn't get much better than this, honestly. Like I don't know what else they can do to really advance the sole at this point. I think that they've answered all of our pleas to get something with maximum traction that's also very comfortable. So I'm really pleased with this one. The Exo is almost like, I don't know if you want to call it like a 2.0 or a 3.0 if you consider the ACs as well, but definitely just like an upgrade from the Rapid Welds, featuring a little bit more durability on the uppers with the coated toe box here. It's kind of like a rubberized vinyl material, which adds a little bit more structure to the shoe. You see that on the toe box. It's also on this little ollie pad on the side, and even on the medial side of the shoe, we see a little hit of that as well. The heel of the shoe is also going to be way more structured, and you'll notice it has this like band here around the back of it, which definitely adds some extra support. You got this little piece of rubber that comes up here, also adding to that. This does feature the Rapid Weld technology with the uppers, of course, the jaw stripe, all these little pieces on here, which add to the lightweightness of this shoe. Without that extra stitching there, you really have like minimal materials on here, which definitely gives it its lightweight feel, along with, of course, the foam sole. By the way, the toe bumper of the shoe is going to be rubber, so that is definitely going to be durable. When you're kicking things, you definitely want to have that hard surface versus the rest of the midsole, which is going to be foam. And they did add this little feature on this midsole with the texture, which I think is pretty cool. It definitely has like that Jordan cement vibe to it, which I dig, considering all the other Ultraranges have just been like plain, nothing really going on there. So I think that's pretty cool. Definitely distracts from just like that fatness of the heel that's just like blank on the rest of the Ultraranges. We have more breathability on the tongue. We have perforations. So the perforations are gonna be just in this little like middle piece here. And this is actually gonna have some padding in it as well. It kind of has like that ravioli look to it. But otherwise, the rest of the tongue is like paper thin, like super thin. So I think that's definitely gonna add to the lightweightness, of course, but also the breathability of the shoe. I really like that feature. That was probably my biggest gripe on the Ultrarange Rapid Welds. That tongue was just too poofy, too thick. The 3Ds as well, I'm not the biggest fan of, just because of the thickness of the tongue. We do see some pull tabs here. This one on the tongue, which I think is the first time we're seeing that. And then, of course, we have the heel pull tab as well. So these should be a breeze to get on and off. The mesh uppers on these, I believe they're probably the same mesh, but honestly, I don't have a mesh Ultrarange here to really show you guys. All the Ultraranges that I have on me are kind of like a cloth type of mesh, so you guys are probably gonna have to check that one out for yourself. But otherwise, the insoles on these, I have to say, are probably a bit improved as well, featuring just a slight amount of added arch support on here compared to the past Ultraranges, so that's pretty cool. If extra arch support is something that you need, then I definitely recommend these, probably more so than any of the other Ultraranges. Other than that, I mean, I feel like the fit of the shoe is pretty much the same as the other ones, with the exception of the toe box. The toe box does seem slightly more narrow to me, but I think there's two different factors into that. One, of course, being this added material on the toe box is going to lose just a small amount of flexibility on the shoe, obviously, compared to the like all meshed toe box. So I think that is definitely one feature, but also I think the toe itself does seem to be more narrow than the Ultraranges, the other Ultraranges. I don't know if I'm just tripping on that, but yeah, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, I would definitely stick true to size on these. Whatever you guys normally get for Ultrarange or any other Vans, for that matter, I would stick with on these. Definitely worth the price, 90 bucks. It's a bit steep, but when you compare it to the competition of a Nike or Adidas, whatever the other shoe is, I think that they're definitely worth a try. I think the Ultrarange line has developed a huge following, which I'm actually pretty shocked about. I didn't think that people were going to take to these as well as they did, but I think Vans has just killed it on the technology, and the co-molded outsoles have been huge. Definitely a major improvement from the Isos. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and as always, be sure to stay tuned for the on feet. By the way, guys, something I actually just discovered right before I was about to put these on for an on feet. These do kind of have like a gusseted tongue to them. I don't know if you guys can see this. That extra piece of material there. So this is definitely going to help a lot with making sure the tongue stays in place and you don't have any of that tongue all the way to the side that you normally get with your standard tongue. So that's pretty cool. Still very movable as well. It doesn't go all the way up like it does with the ACs. But yeah, just an extra cool feature.